Hello everyone, and welcome to another Bathroom of Solitude. Oh, there's a lot more of these lately, hasn't been. Not much I can do when I'm looking at Walmart. Anyway, I've gotten a few questions over the past months, particularly doing video questions from what's my beef with RPGs? I'm not gonna go over that again. To making me regret that I ever said that I liked MLP. Oh, I'm not even going to go over that question. But the question that's got me the most, and is quite vacant from my channel, is from Mr. XENOMIC himself. What's with me and Zelda? Yes, well, let's just stay serious for a little bit. I'd rather not get too technical, make Link jealous. Anyway, as you guys know, there is a distinct lack of Zelda on my channel. Like, it doesn't even seem to exist. Now, it could be assumed that I just hate Zelda, but I don't. Let's just say that me and Zelda just had to see other people. So let's begin here. My whole thing with Zelda is that I was never the biggest fan of Zelda. I like Zelda, okay? It's a great series. It's just... let's just start from the beginning. The very first Zelda game I played... Oh, also, everybody vacate whoever is not interested in my little Zelda history. The very first Zelda game I played was The Legend of Zelda for the NES. Now, even as a kid I hated it. Or just didn't like it. It felt slow, it felt cumbersome, maybe because it was really one of the first, on a console that it was. I just really didn't like how slow and cumbersome it felt. You couldn't even move diagonally. And some of the enemies and bosses were either piss easy or stupid, ridiculously hard for a child my age, which I think would be 5 or 6. The game wasn't bad in itself back in the time. It conveyed the location of dungeons pretty well. Like, that one tree, I think dungeon 7 or 6, or I think it's either 6 or 7, that one tree in the forest that's just there blocking your path from one side to the other. What else to do but burn it down and reveal a dungeon entrance? Or freaking the flute. Just, I guess trying to find the little pool of water. I'm sure there's a guy that tells you how to do the pool of water. And the game also trolled you really hard. From saving the old men from the freaking, being blocked in a cave and then for some reason it's their house and then they steal your money. To that bitch that if you give her like 80 rupees, she's like, "Man, you're rich!" Instead of telling you up, left, down, left. Lost woods. But the game just felt, to me, slow and just cumbersome. The music was great. Just, I like faster paced games, and it just wasn't for me. Zelda II was the second game I ever played for Zelda. Man, was it right up my alley. Platforming. That's it. The game, I like Zelda II. I beat Zelda 1 as a kid. I never beat Zelda 2 as a kid, as weird as that may seem. I think I was stuck in a dungeon where you had to fall down a pit and then make it to this one spot in the exact right way. I forgot what dungeon that is, but I had beaten it when I was later, like when I was older. Finally, Dark Link, asshole, fucking, I used the cheap trick. I was impatient. And between those two games, Zelda 2 didn't age that well, but Zelda 1 has aged. I mean, have you guys ever sat down and played the very first Zelda game without save states, without taking a break every 20 minutes? No, I mean just sat down and played. Maybe it's just me, but I can't find any more enjoyment from it. Also, the rupee grind. The rupee grind is... Huh. The next Zelda game I had ever played was... Oh wait, they all have that theme. Way to be unique, guys. Link to the Past. Whoa! 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 Was this game like fantastic. It's much faster, diagonal movement, classic Zelda gameplay. Hell, they redefined it. It was like, oh, fucking Agnahim. When we were a kid, that guy was like, whoa, what a badass. We didn't know who the fuck Ganon was. We don't remember Ganon. And then he shows up and he's like, hi, I'm Ganon. He's like, look familiar. You know, like in one game before this? I don't know. But, like, the dungeons were all, like, well designed. The world was fascinating. Like, it felt alive, especially back in the day. That world just felt great. And then you enter the Dark World, it's all desolate and shit. Like, wow, Link's bunny at heart. Yes, I will hold him and touch him and squeeze him and he might die. But yeah, Link to the Past was really fun. And some of the minigames for it, I liked that bow and arrow. Who didn't like playing that bow and arrow minigame trying to get a fucking high score? I know I did. But Link to the Past has aged like wine. It gets, well, never mind. That's being, wine gets better with age. No, it just stays there. It just stays where it is. It really is a Link to the Past. Because when you play it, it's just right where it's always been. Yeah, with a pun. Yes. Okay, so the next one I played was Lynx Awakening for the Game Boy. Okay, this game has a special thing in my... I don't like it as much as Link to the Past, but the ending. I know in this day and age it's not that big. I have a thing for those kind of endings, guys. It really, yeah. I hate that shit. It just really bears terribly on the mind. I can't really speak about the game because it's really just handheld Link to the Past in a completely different world with new items. The Rock's Cape. Fucking jumping? What? Zelda II? I mean, in isometric... Oh, it was great. It was great. Just... And the final boss, like, was creative. You really had to figure out how to kill that fucking thing. That fucking King of Nightmares or whatever the fuck. The game was really hard, though. Much harder than Link to the Past. Much harder than Link to the Past. And I loved the challenge. I'm a challenge type of guy. Next was Ocarina of Time, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not play this by myself first. I played jointly with my little brother. We played it together. The soundtrack was amazing. So before you guys attack me, the soundtrack was amazing, okay? I love Hyrule Field's theme, okay? I love... Dun, 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 dun. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, my humming skills have gotten terrible. Okay, so, like, these crazy bosses are in the game. These crazy dungeons. I mean, some shit the PlayStation could never do. Never, ever do. At least for the time. And it was just all over the place. Great items, a nice world. Didn't really grab me too much. I still liked Link to the Past better. Ocarina of Time wasn't a bad game. It's just, like with Zelda 1, it's aged pretty... Like, you have to play the 3DS version just for a better experience, especially with that fucking water temple. That water temple just really killed the experience. But the game was imaginative. The game was just like the Spirit Temple, Young Link, Old Link, whoa! And I just wish the bosses weren't so easy at this point. It really was, with this game, whatever item you got from that dungeon would easily and destroy that boss. Huh. Also, Zora's Fountain never unfroze. What the fuck was up with that? I bet you millions of people spent hours trying to figure that fucking shit out. And yes, I remember the Nintendo.com April Fool's thing on that one. I didn't know they did that, so I spent hours trying to figure that shit out. I was a moron. Yes. Yes. Anyway, I did eventually play the game by myself all the way through. And as much as I love Din's Fire, and I don't even know why I said that, the game just wasn't... it was great. It was good. Just not... Star Fox 64, man. Now that game I played like a bazillion times. I beat that game like over 50 times. Star Fox 64! Only I had the brains to rule my penis. If anybody remembers that. Well, that video is gone. Yes. I killed Andros in like seconds, man! Seconds! Okay? He didn't last seconds against the masturbation finger. It's gone! It's gone! Moving on, Majora's Mask. Whoa! Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. Even to this day, that game is ahead of its fucking time. The quest system in that game is marvelous. Okay, so the 3-day system is fucking annoying when you have to restart everything and yada yada yada, couples mask. The thing is though, is that barring that, and you can use like the slow down time ocarina saying, the game was amazing. The world was alive, which back then is fucking amazing. You only got to experience 3 days of it, and then there was that 13th hour effect where, you know, when it became the next day, suddenly everybody's everybody else, everywhere else. Doesn't make sense. 13th hour syndrome. Whatever. Point is, this game just took everything from Ocarina of Time and just made it a bazillion times better. With the only annoyance is that there may have been too much side quests to do to really... I'm not gonna lie, some of these side quests were really slow, and as interesting as this world was, some of the side quests were boring and really not fun to do. And when you're going for the great deities math that everybody's talked about, Oni Link, let's see, was known back then, it really did get a little tedious. I'm not gonna lie, Majora's Mask, as amazing as it is tedious. Extremely so. And that's the only way. If you can somehow ignore that tedium, that game just has so much to offer. Even to this day. Also, Goron rolling is really annoying. And the masks. Oh man, Zora, Link, holy crap, double boomerang! Fuck, wind boomerang, man! Double boomerang, yeah! Yeah, you see that? Yeah! I look gay doing it, but Zora, Link, whoa, whoa. Okay. And that couples, back to the couples thing, that whole 40 seconds until they're about to die to the moon. You know, going by Back to the Future or Dragon Ball Z rules, you have to imagine that these people are getting murked by this moon every timeline you enter. For that couples thing right there, just imagining just Dragon Ball Z's of timeline is just... Happy Sales math guy's creepy. Yes. Okay, so Wind Waker was the very next one I played. Oh wait, no. I played Oracle of Ages and Seasons first. But I don't really want to talk about those too much. Ages I really liked, despite the fact that it was also extremely tedious. And Seasons was just... I don't know, there. But whatever, I don't want to talk about those too much. Wind Waker. My second favorite, tied actually, fucking Zelda game. With the most tedious of intro for any Zelda game. God damn that stealth section. You guys know me in stealth. I was there for hours. After that though, the game just becomes really amazing. Okay, I know. Lewis, what the fuck are you talking about? Traveling on that boat is fucking annoying. You know what? I like adventure. I like high seas adventure. Yo ho fiddly dee ho fucking hum rum. I'm pirates. Meh. Traveling around, finding islands, finding this random crap strewn all over the place, even if it's just fucking rupees in a chest. I loved it, okay? I digged it. I loved the graphical style. I loved the dungeons. I loved the characters. I didn't love the characters that much. They're... okay. The minigames were fun. It was just... It was well built. It was well streamlined. And the only thing that I can really give fault to it, including everybody else, was finding the Triforce pieces. That was annoying. It was cool for a while, but then it was like, how do I get on the pirate, that fucking ghost ship? That ghost ship was amazing, by the way, when I first saw it playing. I was like, wow! Wow! How do I get on it? I don't know. But everything was just a new discovery with that game. That game may have been bare bones on the actual world, but just finding an island and just going on it and just exploring what it is was just fantastic. At least for me. And, you know, stabbing Ganon in the head was cool too. Finally we get to it. Twilight Princess. Don't like it. World felt barren and dreary, and okay, I get it, it's supposed to be dreary, but it didn't do it for me. I don't hate dreary worlds. I've played games with them. I've played games like that. Just this one in the Zelda Experience, it didn't feel, nothing felt real in the game, if you guys can understand what I'm saying there. Just, when you cleared a spot, it really felt like that spot was no longer under threat of anything anymore. And it just, even that, going to gameplay details, first of all, the music was ass. I can only remember like one or two good songs in that fucking game. Secondly, Wolf Link, which was the gigantic thing, you know, for this game, fucking Okami over here, Amaterasu, the combat for the wolf was stupid. Hold A to win. Really? Really? Super homing attack? And the dungeons were annoying and tedious and not fun to go through. And they were either, and you couldn't figure them out, you were stuck there for hours. And the bosses were just not worth it, because they just ran into the same problem of item wins the day. Though, the boss requiring the spinner was really cool. I will admit, I'll give Nintendo a fucking bag of gold, that was a cool boss fight. And then, you know, you get to Ganon, what does he want to do? He fucking wants to use Zelda's body. You know, like Serena Williams over here and play another game of tennis. You're not good at the game, Ganon! You suck at tennis! If you were in Mario Tennis, your stats would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You suck at tennis! If you went out to the World US Tennis Open, you would fail in last place to a Goomba, who would also be in the real world for some reason. But he would still stop you. As ironic as that would be, and then you fight him other ways, and that was cool until it turned out he was retarded. Oh, but before that, I did play Minish Cap. My first time playing through it, I didn't like it too much. It was really easy, and the world felt dumb, and dungeons were kind of lame, and final boss was kind of lame, but I played it again recently. It's not that bad. It's not great. It's just, it's like Link to the Past super light. As that's what it felt like. Like a really, like something that just another Zelda game. Like an average Zelda game. Just average. It wasn't super great, but it wasn't super shit. Still better than Twilight Princess. Then we go to Skyward Sword, which I had not played too much of. What I did play of, though, did not like it. Did not like it. And from my understanding from my brother Oni, as probably forgotten by now, guys, he didn't like it either. And that guy loves Zelda much more than I do. And with that, you now know my beef with Zelda, which I don't really have, I just don't really like Zelda 1. Or Skyward Sword, apparently, and Twilight Princess. And Ages. I know what you're saying, guys. I know what you're saying. Why am I dissing on Zelda 1? Well, okay, look, I know it started it, but just because it started it doesn't mean it's the greatest ever. Crash Bandicoot 1 is not that great anymore. It aged terribly. Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 is still pretty cool to play. What I'm getting at. Hi, doggy. Anyway, so there's your whole thing. That's my whole history with Zelda to explain everything. Bye. Expect Sonic's laters. Maybe day after tomorrow. I love you too, puppy dog. I love you too.